Hello, bud. Thank you for your check-in. So we're going to go through some points in this check-in that's going to allow you to realign, get back on track, and to be tighter with the progress that we're going to be making, because we want to be pulling off a kilo per week, especially from your starting point. Now, at the minute, the check-ins have been sporadic, the data has been sporadic, and then progress has ultimately not been moving in the way that we want it to. Now, obviously you run a busy life, but then again, there are other people in your situation, in fact, you probably have friends in your same situation that are not everyone is in the same shape you are, but is doing the exact same job and output that you are doing. So this is to say that there is somewhere in your mind that there is a limiting belief as to why the role is ultimately holding you back. And what this will continuously do is where we want to turn you into the new version of you, and we want to put habits into that basket. And let's say you've been eating a good amount of protein for as long as you've been with me. So great job. That's a rock. That's a habit in the basket of the new you. The issue is that there's a lot of still habits and rocks in the old basket of you, which is confirming your identity and confirming why you are the way you are now. And ultimately, we're using the role potentially as the part of the reason for it. And do you know what? I'll even level with you and say, maybe there is some part to play in it that is the reason. However, it's still our fault. It's still our responsibility to fix this, because no one else is going to come and do this for us. I can't even come through the screen, make you eat a certain amount and move a certain amount. I can't even do that. I can only advise you from here. You actually have to take aside, cool, this is what my obligations are to do with my role. However, these are my obligations I need to do for my own health and longevity. You're only going to continuously get year after year after year after year older. And if you don't fix the shape you're going to, you're just going to continue living life year after year after year, not being content with how you want to. And the analogy I'll use for this is, imagine you get in bed and you're trying to go to sleep and then you need a piss. And you're like, fuck it, I could probably still fall asleep and I'll really need a piss in the morning, but I can still fall asleep. You're not going to have the best night's sleep. You're not going to have the best time getting to sleep either. It's going to be slightly uncomfortable. Whereas if you just jumped straight out of bed and went for a quick piss and then got back in, it's about a 30-second job. But to get out, and even if it's cold in the winter, it's pretty miserable, right? We know it. Living in England, you get out in January in the middle of the night, you go for a piss. Horrible, especially if the heating's gone off at that point. So the analogy I'm using here is you can continue living life like you kind of need a piss with the shape that you're in, but you're going to make things hard for yourself. Your best bet is to attack this full on, suffer more now, and you will have to suffer. Of course you will, because you're going to be doing busy role whilst also still getting into all the non-negotiables. Prepping meals at a certain time, training X amount of times per week, cardio a certain amount of times per week, and then also getting out to do steps. So it's going to be more uncomfortable than you are now. But what you're doing now is it's just slowly going to keep eating away at your soul, that year after year after year, you're not looking how you want to. And that's important. We must address this straight away and get this fixed. So the first thing we're going to do is set the new routine with that in mind. We're going to go with an aggressive routine where it's like, I know I'm going to be busy. I know I'm going to have to push myself, and that's okay. And mentally, I'm prepared for that. So all you're simply going to do is structure out a typical day, and you're going to leave a lot of time out for work. And you're going to be ready for, as the fucking motto is, you're literally going to be ready for anything in the event that you get told, you go into work at 8 o'clock and for some reason, you didn't end up finishing till like 2200. You ended up on the range somehow and you didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, but you were ready for it because you had your meals prepped and either you had them with you or you could just nip back and go and get them, and you'd already done your fizz in the morning, so that was done. And that's going to be one of the key factors. Unless you're literally starting in the depths of the early morning, you want to be attacking the morning for you, because that way, whatever happens during the day, you're going to be content because you already got up at the time you're supposed to, you've already trained, and you've already, let's say we've bolstered your cardio on the back. You've already done 50% of the transformation before you've even started work. How do you think that's going to do for your mental state going into work? You think you're going to feel better or worse about yourself? Probably better, right? Because you're already steps ahead and moving towards the goal that you wanted to. Now, if you're going into work feeling better, do you think performance in work is going to go up or down? More than likely, it's going to go up, right? Because you're just in a better space. You could say you'd be a little bit fatigued going into whatever the day's activities are because you've already trained. Fine, I'm happy with that. But at the end of the day, Your body needs to respond to two stimuluses: the stimulus that we put on it to get it fit and in shape, and also the stimulus of the role that you need to do and to be able to obtain that. So either way, it's all good training coming in. So simply just by assessing the routine, being aggressive with it, but understanding this is going to be uncomfortable. It's not nice getting up in the fucking depths of the morning and the alarm going off and like you don't really want to get up. It's not that nice, of course it's not. But if we don't do this and attack it now and suffer now, future you will forever continuously keep suffering or not be 100% content with A, how you look and then how you perform. It's your birthright to look like a fucking athlete. Of course it is. You've seen the results we get. You can have exactly the same. We just need to tie this down and make sure the routine is locked in so that then for the rest of the day, busy as fuck, fine, no problem. But this doesn't matter because we've already prepped our meals on a Sunday and we're going to prep them, let's say, again on a Thursday for the Friday, Saturday. And then at the later point, we just finish off with steps and bed, and that's it. And we just dial in and lock in on that. We know you're going to be predominantly UK based, so we can get all the foods and stuff we need. And we're just going to need to plan ahead for things that come on. Now, the next thing to assess is the accountability attitude. And this is what I was saying before, that like you are where you are in life right now because of your own doing. Like you got that cap badge on your chest because you earned it, because of your own accolades, your own effort, and your own performance. And you should absolutely, like, you are the sole reason you deserve to wear that cap badge. Absolutely. But also, if you look down below at the midsection, that is also your fault as well. And we have to fully embrace that and be like, fine, it is my fault, but why that's good is we can now do something about it. For every shortcoming I have in life, I'm like, fuck it, it's my fault. Even if it wasn't, it's still my responsibility, so it may as well be my fault because now I can do something about it. Now I have the power to do it. And we must take into consideration that no matter what work throws at us, it's still our fault to get the non-negotiables of the diet done. Because ultimately, if we don't, no one's going to give a fuck that we didn't get in shape. No one's going to give a fuck that we don't feel better about ourselves. And no one's going to give a fuck that like we're still unhappy with how we look. No one will give a fuck. I do, for you, I do, but no one else will. And do you know what I mean? If we don't attack this now, you'll just grow older without getting into the shape that you want to. Now, the last thing to look at is tighter comms. So if we don't have comms, it's because of probably one of two reasons. The first one is things haven't gone your way, and you kind of don't want to. You don't want to like address it front on. You want to let time pass, and then we speak about it, and it's kind of not as bad. Your best bet, mate, is to honestly be as tight on the comms with me as possible. I say to Mike, you can text me anytime. I'll get back to you as soon as I see it. But ultimately, if comms are loose, the result will be loose. If comms are tight and you're hitting me with problems and we're coming up with solutions together and you're informing me of how you're getting on with the process, that's you essentially being like fully embraced in it. You're in the cold water at that point. You're like, fuck it, I'm in it at this point. Like, sound, it is what it is. I'm just going to embrace it. But the longer you leave comms, the more unappealing getting into that cold water is, the more addressing the issues that are at the forefront of us are. And that's why I would say, like, just tight comms. So we want to first set the new routine. Accountability, everything is our fault. And then you're going to be on the WhatsApp with me, tight comms, because we're going to work through this together, right? That's why I'm here, to help you work through the whole process. No one else gives a fuck. I do. And that's why I try and structure things in this way. So your action step, first and foremost, is to set the new routine. And the new routine you set wants to be so fucking bomb-proof that nothing could sway you off. As in, everything is so well prepped, you're so well drilled, that nothing's going to throw you off. That is your main action step coming out of here. Assessing over your actual data points, I believe we're ready for a change in food, and we're going to pull calories down to 100. I'm going to make some notes and some adjustments on that and then get this sent to you. But thanks for checking in. Let's fucking get after it now. A lot of potential, about 12 kilos we want to get off, and you will start to look like the athlete you deserve to be. So, thanks for checking in. Let's get after it. Let's fucking go.